Welcome to the Forward Focused FlashCast, bite-sized episodes on becoming an effective, well-rounded leader with quick tips that you can implement right away. Today, we're discussing how to stay in your lane, how to make the right choices when you have a million things being thrown at you as a leader and business owner. We all face it, right? Whether you're self-employed and it's just yourself and your startup, or you're running a company with 500 employees. As a leader, somebody running an organization, we are faced with countless decisions, choices that all have consequences we have to face each and every day. My goal for this FlashCast is to give you a couple things to consider that will help you maximize your time and keep some of your sanity so you can be the best leader for you and your organization. The first that I would say is you need to quantify how you win versus lose the day, the week, the month. Keep in mind that's not always just around numbers or profitability, but oftentimes those are tied to the metrics of winning or losing. So it might be something as simple as, for today to be a win, I have to do X. Or I can't leave today until I do Y. Or if I don't begin rolling that project Z, then today was not a good use of my time. It's that idea of being busy versus being productive. I talk to business leaders all the time that are super busy. Yet when we look at the actual results and the productivity of what they're doing, they feel like they're on a hamster wheel. They're spinning their wheels. So I really encourage you to think about how can you quantify a win for the day, a win for the week. Okay, let's hop into ways that we can actually strategize to see what we can pull off our plates, right? Our ever-expanding plate. And the thing is, the plate's not ever-expanding. It's what's going onto the plate that's expanding. And there's only so high you can stack that food. I think about Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday. I love it because of the family. I love giving gratitude and looking back on what life has brought me with so much respect and reverence. And I also love the food and the bonus is football. But the key is I know that I only can stack that food so high, right? And the same thing happens in business. So here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. In a moment, I'm going to want you to pause this audio or video clip. And what I'd like you to do is just make a list of all the things you've had to do in your business over the last 7 to 10 days. All the things that you've had to do in your organization. So some things to get you started. Maybe it's the accounting. Maybe it's overlooking finances. Maybe it's expanding contracts and getting new relationships or contacts into your business. Maybe it's a series of appointments that you've had to hold for your business or your entity. Maybe it's maintaining your business, whether you had to fix a computer that you use to operate or a truck for your landscaping company. You get the idea. And if you're having a hard time, make a list. Just look at your calendar. What's on your calendar is probably driving what you're spending time on. Okay, so go ahead and hit pause and we'll see you in just a second. Okay, hopefully by now you have a list of different topics that you have written down that you've been focusing on as a business leader wearing multiple hats, right? As you're looking at that list, you may have 5 things there, 7 things, maybe even 10 or more. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to identify 1 or 2 things on that list that absolutely drive revenue for your business, and absolutely, if you weren't to do it for a week straight, your business would suffer. Drives revenue for the business, and if you weren't to do it for a week straight, your business would suffer. See, when you start missing deadlines, when you start getting frustrated and losing sleep with waking up thinking of all the things you need to do, the first things you start to get rid of off of that list are the things that you dislike doing, don't drive economic growth for the company, or somebody else can easily replace you doing it. I'll give you an example. And this was not one that's just profit driven. I was talking with a business leader who, from time to time, still goes around the office and actually collects the garbage and throws it out. Now, from a $1 per hour's standpoint, would it be easier just to hire a janitor and have that replaced? Of course it would. But the benefit that this CEO realized is that as they were walking around their business, They got to connect and engage with their employees in a way that was super authentic, and it cultivated and built relationships. See, that's a currency that this CEO couldn't afford to give up. And so consistently, a handful of times through the year, the CEO would do that and connect with his people at a really high level. So when you're thinking about what we can get off your plate, it's about where can we leverage our time to be more productive. I just recently purchased a new home. I absolutely love it. I'm hoping that it can be somewhere that blesses my family for years to come. And here's the thing. After cutting the lawn with a zero turn and playing around on that, I don't want to really be cutting shrubs and mulching and manicuring all this landscape every single month during the spring and summer months. And so I decided after conversations with my wife that we were going to leverage that time, and 2 times a year, spring and fall, the biggest times for fall cleanup and spring prep, we were going to leverage the landscaping so we could actually still enjoy other aspects of our weekends leading in spring or fall. And so we looked at how much it would cost and what getting that time would mean back to my wife and I if we could take a weekend trip or go camping instead, or just simply spend more time on our other areas in business or with family. And then, of course, there is the monetary benefit of you looking at what areas in your life you can leverage out versus keep for yourself. So, for example, if you're able to sit down one time with a social media consultant and realize that X number of likes yields you 1 new contract, you're going to be able to put a time frame on that, right? How many times a month or a year do you want to get that many new likes to yield you 1 new contract? Well, you're not going to find that out yourself if you're just trying to self-discover and become the social media guru. You're going to leverage that off your plate, and you're going to be able to generate business by leveraging that out with somebody who's a specialist. So there's 3 final things to just consider in regards to this list that I had you create. Number 1, you want to ask yourself, what makes the most sense from an economic and time standpoint for you to continue to take on? Remember, you want to have 2 to 3 things tops that you are going to be focusing on at least once a week, if not every day. Then number 2, you want to ask yourself, what can be easily put off your plate or replicated or hired out, leveraged to give you time back in your world, whether that's to save money or long-term, right, and generate more, or maybe spend time with your wife or loved ones or other areas. And then number 3, the last piece that may be on that list is the unconventional value that it brings, right? So think back to that CEO that collects the trash. When I said that was a currency he couldn't afford to give up, it's because of the relationships he was able to develop and cultivate with his employees while doing a task that could easily be replaced. Every single one of our businesses has tasks like that are worth keeping. It's hard to necessarily nail down, but when you do, it can make all the difference. If you found value in today's content, please be sure to subscribe so you never miss a lesson to be the leader you deserve to be. Until next time, lead on.